All right, the Nets looking to inbound. Jeff Green gets it into Durant. Here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots. Yes! With 1 second remaining. 1 second left. Durant hits a three. And Milwaukee has one timeout. They call for the timeout. What an incredible shot by Kevin Durant.
Decision is a two-point field goal. Gathers his feet. The question is, was his toe on the line? And it looks like from that angle, it was on the line. Still a beautiful shot by Durant. Off balance, fading away. Tucker in his face and able to concentrate and step up.
What do you think of this trade request?
Idiotic. Let's get that out the way.
Just your initial reaction.
What reaction? This is Kyrie Irving, a guy that you cannot trust. Didn't Kyrie Irving just say that Kevin Durant is his best friend, right? So where's the loyalty, right? If that's your best friend, I don't want that. Give me an enemy.
Breaking news. Late night on the West Coast, early morning on the East Coast. The Nets they're no more. From Brooklyn's perspective, you called it a great experiment. That's one way to put it. This now is a total redo. They've got all sorts of assets. They acquired a number of players, both in the Kyrie trade and in this one. How are they collectively viewing where they sit now? Not what happened, but where they sit right now.
Yeah, well, certainly it's not a team that is a contender anymore. You know, they wanted to still be a contender around Kevin Durant, but that's over.
Cam, saw a stat tonight that you and LeBron are the two youngest players to ever score back-to-back 44-point games. Just any reaction to that?
Bro? I mean, that's great company. I'm glad to have my name mentioned with that guy. Even though I'm a Kobe guy, so.
Before he could walk, talk, or crawl, Cam Thomas could step on the basketball court and get you a bucket.
That was a heat check. Thomas straight away three. Yes!
Great job, Kispert, creating the switch right there. Get Kispert on Thomas, but you can't play with the ball.
Looking at the shot clock at 1 for the win! Cam Thomas, winner!
You hear people talk about fate and destiny, and I don't always believe in these things, but every once in a while, your eyes see something that you just simply can't deny. This is how I feel about Cam Thomas scoring the basketball. When I watch him play, I have no doubt in my heart that he was put on this earth to do one thing and one thing alone. Go out there and put the ball in the fucking hole. Through the first 2 games this season, he's averaging ridiculous 33 points on over 61% from the field. This doesn't seem to be the outlier. Whenever he's been given consistent minutes, he goes out there and just pours in buckets. And with the Nets being below 500 since trading Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, we need to ask ourselves, is it time to hand Cam Thomas the keys? Last season, amidst the madness of the Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant trades, the Brooklyn Nets had a stretch of 4 games where they found themselves without their 2 best players or any of the new pieces that they just acquired in trades. With no one else there to answer the call, Cam Thomas picked up the phone. Let me just tell you, he did more than rise to the occasion. During this 4-game stretch, he averaged 38.5 on nearly 50-50-90 splits. He put up over 40 in the first 3 of these games, with 44, 47, and 43-point outings. Yet despite these performances, Cam was reduced again to the bench role once the new Nets roster pieces were ready to play. He saw extremely inconsistent minutes for the rest of the season, getting single-digit playing time for nearly half of the remaining games. He saw over 30 minutes only once more for the remainder of the season, which came in their final regular season game against Philadelphia. He scored 46 points. So if scoring the ball isn't what's keeping Cam off the court, then what is? For that, we can look almost solely at his defense. He's a pretty lackluster defender both on and off the ball, consistently giving up easy buckets. This is reflected in his career defensive rating of a 116, which is subpar, especially considering the fact that Cam is probably guarding the worst offensive player on the other team every night. For example, Luka Doncic, who's probably consistently guarding similar players to Cam, has a career rating of a 110. In fact, Cam finds himself much closer to Trae Young, who's probably the worst defender in the league, and has a career defensive rating of 117. He doesn't have the quickest feet when guarding the ball and consistently gives up blow-bys. Also, as we can see in this clip, he's prone to overhelping, coming too far off his man and giving up open shots. To Cam's credit though, the clips that I've seen he shows a pretty consistent effort, and sometimes he's even able to leverage his strength to stay in front of the ball. In this clip, Luka tries to bully his way to the rim, but Cam's strength lets him stay in front enough where Claxton can get a decent angle and help side. Another knock on Cam is his ball dominance. This comes in a couple forms. The first is that he's not a very good passer, which is honestly pretty valid. For his career, he's only averaged about 1 assist a game. And at just for 36 minutes, things don't look a lot better. He's only sitting at around 3 assists per game. This especially isn't great when we look at his usage rates. In games where he played over 20 minutes last season, his usage rate was around 28%. And so far this season it's risen, as he's sitting around 34%. For comparison, that mark last season would be pretty comparable to a guy like Kyrie Irving, who sits around the 29% mark for his career. Then this season, he's closer to Luka Doncic numbers, who's around 37% for his career. And Kyrie's per 36-minute assist numbers are about double what Cam's are. He's also been fairly prone to turnovers during his career, but these numbers aren't nearly as bad because he just shoots it most of the time. And I think that there's some potential for Cam to increase these numbers, because when you watch the film, he actually makes some pretty decent passes every once in a while. He's been very average in the pick and roll, only about a .86 points per possession, which is on par with guys like Jalen Green or Anthony Edwards. But due to the threat of his scoring, I think that there's potential here. And when you roll the tape, you'll see that he actually makes some decent reads every once in a while. Look at this possession, for example. He sees that 2 guys come to him and throws a nice lob to Claxton. The other knock on Cam in regards to his ball dominance is the fact that he can't really play off the ball. But I'm not sure if this is totally valid. My biggest argument here is that you can only be so bad off the ball when you're a good shooter. And Cam's certainly a good shooter. In games where he's played over 20 minutes, he shot over 40% from 3. And he also just has a knack for putting the ball in the hole. Whether it's off the catch or attacking closeouts, he doesn't always need to be the one making plays to score. So yes, obviously, Cam Thomas has some issues in his game. But does this mean that he should be kept off the court? I don't think so. The issue is that Cam is a very polarizing player. Historically, we've seen that he plays his best basketball when he's kind of let loose and actually gets to play. In games where he plays over 20 minutes for his career, he's averaging 20 points per game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, on 46 from the field, 40 from 3, and 88 from the line. So in my mind, you either have to unleash the scoring machine that is Cam Thomas, or not play him. Because in the games where he's played under 20 minutes, he's shooting 34% from the field and 16 from 3. So the question then is, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, do you hand Cam the keys to the franchise and just watch the show? I think you should. Here's why. For starters, as I mentioned, they're below 500 since trading Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And a big part of that is due to their offense. Last season in their last 20 games, they only averaged 108 points per game. If that was spread out to the full season, they would have been dead last in the league. When Cam Thomas has played over 20 minutes, that average jumps closer to 113, which would have put him about average in the league. You can see that trend too this season. In their first game, he had 25 minutes, and they put up 113 points. Then most recently against Dallas, when he had 33 minutes, they put up 120 points. Also, when you look at the Nets roster, they've got the perfect pieces to hide his 2 biggest weaknesses: passing and defense. First for the passing, they've got Ben Simmons, who's a great fit alongside Cam. For his career, he throws 7.5 assists a game, and is dishing out 8.5 this season. He's also just a great ball mover, and is great at helping the offensive flow with kick-ahead passes, swing passes, etc. And they've also got Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a great passer, and has proven during his time in Dallas that he can fit well in a secondary playmaker role, alongside other dominant ball handlers. The Nets also have some outstanding defensive pieces, who can compensate for Cam's lack of ability on that end. Mikal Bridges, Ben Simmons, Dorian Finney-Smith, even Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton have already proven to be more than capable defenders. So since they've got the roster to balance out his flaws, there's absolutely no reason not to hand Cam Thomas the reins on offense, especially when we consider the fact that he's only 22 years old, making it fair to assume that he can develop into an even deadlier scoring threat than he already is. So I'll be curious to see exactly how the Brooklyn Nets actually choose to use him the rest of the season. and let me know down below what you guys think. Do you agree with me and think that they should turn him loose, or do you think that his flaws don't outweigh his strengths? Also, if you did enjoy the video, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. If not, I'd be open to some constructive feedback in the comments. And with that, I will see you all in the next video. Take care.